Chapter 1: Shadows of Responsibility. The rhythmic clanging of the factory's machinery echoed in Anya's ears as she carefully assembled the small components on the conveyor belt. Her fingers moved with precision, though her mind was far from her task. The weight of her world pressed heavily on her slender shoulders. She was only 18, but life had molded her into someone far older than her years. Anya's family lived in a cramped, two-room house on the outskirts of the city. Her father, a once promising carpenter, had long succumbed to the grip of alcoholism. Her mother, embittered by life and disappointment, showed disdain toward her daughters. Girls, according to her mother, were burdens, liabilities to be rid of as soon as possible. Her sons, however, were princes in the household, pampered and protected at every turn. Anya was the eldest of 6 children. Her younger sisters, Priya, Kamala, and Riya, looked up to her with a mix of admiration and despair, knowing she bore the brunt of their family's struggles. The boys, Rohit and Vikram, attended good schools, wore clean uniforms, and spent their evenings playing cricket with friends. The girls, on the other hand, cooked, cleaned, and tiptoed around their parents' tempers. Despite the relentless grind, Anya nurtured a flicker of hope. She attended evening classes at a local community center, where she studied diligently to prepare for entrance exams to a technical school. Education, she believed, was her key to escape, not just for herself, but for her sisters as well. The hours she spent in class were her sanctuary, a brief respite from her suffocating reality. One evening, as she returned home from the factory, Anya found her mother and father huddled in whispered conversation. She paused at the doorway, hesitant to interrupt, when her mother's sharp voice sliced through the air. "The dowry is more than enough," her mother said. "Anya will marry him. What choice does she have?" Anya's heart froze. She pressed her hand against the rough wall for support, her mind reeling. Marriage? To whom? And for what? Her father's voice, slurred and unsteady, added, "The man's rich. 62 or not, he'll pay well. We'll be rid of her, and the money will help us get Rohit into a better school." Anya's stomach churned. The faceless man her parents spoke of loomed in her mind like a shadowy specter. Her hands trembled as she clutched her bag, holding back the tears that threatened to spill. She turned quietly and slipped away to the back of the house, the taste of betrayal bitter on her tongue. Chapter 2: Desperate Pleas. The next day, Anya tried to reach out to her extended family. She called her aunt, a woman she'd always thought of as kind. But her aunt brushed her off. "Your parents' decisions are none of my business, Anya. Besides, marrying a rich man isn't the worst fate." Every door she knocked on was slammed in her face. Friends, neighbors, even her teachers, no one wanted to interfere in what they saw as a family matter. That evening, Anya gathered her courage and confronted her parents. Her voice shook as she spoke. "I'll keep working. I'll give you all my earnings. Just don't marry me off to that man." Her mother's response was a stinging slap. "You think you have a choice," she sneered. "We've already accepted his offer. You'll do as we say." Anya's father grabbed her arm, his grip bruising. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be. You're going, and that's final." Anya cried helplessly the entire night. She was scared. She found no hope. She desperately wanted to escape from this hellhole of a town, but all doors were closed at her. She had no money. She had given every single penny she had earned to her parents. She had no way out. If she tried to run away now, she was scared that one of her much younger sisters would be married off in her stead. What could be done? Chapter 3: A Nightmare Realized. The wedding happened quickly, in a small, grim ceremony. The 62-year-old groom arrived with a leering grin, his presence making Anya's skin crawl. When she tried to resist, his goons tied her hands and forced her into a car. She felt like a prisoner, a commodity sold to the highest bidder. The man's house was large but cold, devoid of warmth or humanity. Anya's first night as his wife was a blur of terror and humiliation. But fate intervened in an unexpected way. That very night, the old man suffered a heart attack and died. The family was thrown into chaos, unsure of what to do with Anya. "We paid good money for her," the man's eldest son growled. "We're not letting her go just like that." After heated arguments, the family decided to call Jack, the nephew who had distanced himself from them years ago. Jack was 24, a tall, kind-eyed man who had little patience for his family's schemes. When he arrived and saw Anya's tear-streaked face, he made a decision. "I'll marry her," he said, his voice firm. "But not because of your threats. Once we're married, she's coming with me, and you'll have no say in her life." The family elders went to a separate room to discuss this matter over. After an hour, they all came out and agreed to Jack's conditions. They said that with his marriage, they are washing their hands off of all responsibilities towards Jack. Jack said nothing in reply. He just nodded his head. Chapter 4: A New Beginning. Jack kept his word. Their marriage was a simple legal affair, devoid of fanfare. Once the papers were signed, he took Anya to his modest apartment in the city. For the first time in her life, Anya felt safe. She looked at Jack and, "What do you want to do?" Jack asked her one evening as they sat in the small living room. Anya's answer was immediate. "I want to study. I want to be independent." Jack nodded. "Then that's what you'll do. I'll support you every step of the way." True to his word, Jack enrolled Anya in a college and covered her expenses. Anya threw herself into her studies, determined to make the most of this second chance. She also took care of their home, cooking meals and keeping the space tidy. Jack's kindness and quiet encouragement became her anchor. Over the years, Anya excelled in her studies and eventually secured a well-paying job. Her first paycheck was a moment of triumph, a symbol of her hard-won independence. Chapter 5: Giving Back. Anya didn't forget her sisters. She returned to her parents' home, her presence startling them. She ignored their pleas for money and focused on her sisters, taking Priya, Kamala, and Riya under her wing. She enrolled them in good schools and ensured they had the opportunities she had been denied. Her parents tried to reach her multiple times, but Anya blocked every attempt. She had no room in her life for those who had betrayed her so deeply. Chapter 6: A Love Realized. Years later, Anya had achieved everything she had set out to do. Her sisters were thriving, and she had risen to a high position in her company. One evening, Jack took her to a quiet restaurant. As they sat across from each other, he reached for her hand. "You've accomplished so much," he said, his voice full of pride. "What do you want to do next?" Anya looked at him, her heart swelling with gratitude and love. "I want to be with you, love you, be loved by you, and build a family with you." Jack's smile lit up the room. For the first time in her life, Anya felt truly free, free to dream, to love, and to live. Epilogue. Anya and Jack built a life filled with love and mutual respect. Together, they created a home where kindness reigned, breaking the cycle of pain and neglect that had defined Anya's past. And as Anya looked at the life they had built, she knew she had found her true place in the world.